personally spoke to Michael Richardson, and I let Michael know that Mr. Terrell is here to assist us. He's going to help us bring more exposure to this case so we can get more assistance from the Sheriff's Department to help find Mitrice, because at that point, the Sheriff's Department was so apathetic, they did not want to move to look for Mitrice. And Michael was very much in favor of Mr. Terrell assisting us. From the beginning, Mr. Terrell said that he would be there to assist us in whatever direction that we decided to go in, but he was there to assist us in putting pressure and getting the information that we were trying to obtain from the Sheriff's Department, which at that time was the police report and the booking release information that the Sheriff's Department would not release to us. And it took someone like Mr. Terrell to get involved to help us get that, and Michael was very much in favor of that. At some point in this process, it took a turn. I continued on with Mr. Terrell, and as far as I knew, up until the last hour, Mr. Richardson was on board with Mr. Terrell, but also on board with other people as well. So I'm not sure or clear what the motivation or the intentions are, but I just want to make it very clear that my attorney, Mr. Terrell, has been nothing but supportive.
Okay.
And he has not chased us. He did not come looking for us. We sought him out.
Okay.
And he stepped up to help us.
Approximately 4 weeks after Mitrice was missing, Mitrice called me, Michael called me, yelling at me, screaming at me, why won't Latice file a claim? Why won't Leo file? This is 4 weeks after. 4 weeks after Mitrice was missing. Calling me, yelling at me that I need to jump on her to make sure that her and Leo file the claim. Mr. Terrell told me that it was no time for that. We need to spend our efforts finding her, and that's what we did. And Michael repeatedly called me that we needed to file a claim, very early on. He said it needed to be filed within 30 days, and I quote, "You need to get on my baby mama and make sure that she does it." I said, "Michael, we're all upset about this. We're spending time looking for her, but I'll call Leo." Leo said, "Don't worry about it, Rhonda. It's not time to worry about it right now." So I left Latice alone. I didn't mention to him. He called me again approximately 2 weeks after that. Same thing. "You need to talk to my baby mama. You need to get her to file the claim." And I said, "Michael, why don't you do it?" Because Leo's telling us that we need to spend our time and efforts in looking for Mitrice, and we don't have time to do a claim right now. It's not the most important thing. He called me on 3 separate occasions about this issue, telling me that he was going to be going to Washington, D.C., and that he couldn't do that without the claim being filed. I told him that as the father, that I'm sure that he could file that claim, and that's the last conversation that I had with him regarding it.
If you don't file a claim within a 6-month time frame, then you forever lose that right to hold them accountable. Did I wake up one day wishing for something like this to happen? Of course not. If those authorities would have got out and found my baby the minute I called in to let them know that I was coming to pick her up, if they would have got out and looked for her and brought her home, we would not be standing here right now. As a matter of fact, Michael Richardson would be unaware of what happened with Mitrice.
Okay, I just want to make sure.
Had they got out and found my baby. The only reason why Michael Richardson is involved at this point is because I contacted him.
You have the attachments on my claim form. Read the similarities.
Right.
Just read it. I mean, read what they have attached. Read it when you get a copy of that. Read what they had and read what we wrote.
America's Next Top Model application, where they asked a specific question: what is your relationship with your father? And she tells you, not much of a relationship. However, he's trying to get to know me, so I've been trying to get to know him better. Right. So it's only been since 2009 that she chose to entertain the possibility of building their relationship. And guess what? Since high school, I've been encouraging her to give him the opportunity to build their relationship. If I ever showed you her life, if I showed you her graduation of high school, you will not see him there. I asked her, "Don't you want to invite him?" No, her words. She didn't want him there. When she graduated from college, I asked her, "Aren't you going to invite Michael?" Because we referred to him as Michael. She called my then husband. My then husband, and I'm not going to say his name because he's a private citizen, but my then husband raised Mitrice. Whether their relationship was good or bad, which it was good most of the time, but he raised her. She referred to him as her daddy. Mitrice was raised by my husband, and that's who was her father throughout the years. My then husband.
And you're divorced from him now?
Yes.
Okay.
We will soon be divorced.
Okay.
But again, their relationship, good or bad, there was a relationship.
Okay.
But she didn't care to have Michael around. She just recently began to entertain a relationship with him.
Okay.
As a matter of fact, in 2009.
Okay.
And that's not to say that my relationship with Mitrice is perfect. We had a great mother-daughter relationship which consisted of ups and downs. Mitrice is not a perfect child, but you know what? She had her head on right. She was going in the right direction, making a lot of positive choices. She was on track. She was goal-oriented. You know, there's no one perfect. And I'm not a disillusioned mother who thinks that I had the perfect little angel. But what happened to my daughter, that she did not deserve to be released like she was nothing in the middle of the night with no regard. My daughter or anyone else's daughter or son for that matter. And that's where the focus needs to remain.
How are you doing with the fact that this is the 6-month anniversary tomorrow of her disappearance?
I don't think I'm doing well at all. I have more distressed days than I have happy days because a very solid foundation in my life is not here. And she's not here because of a grossly negligent sheriff's department who had no regard for her life. They took her very items that she needs to make it and survive, and then they released her with none of them. And then have the audacity to be angry because I asked them to get out there and look for her because something's wrong with her. She's having an emotional crisis. And me being the closest person to her in the world, they figure they shouldn't listen to me. They know her better. Oh, she's just someone who doesn't want to contact you right now. How dare they tell me what my daughter is thinking or what she would do, and they don't even know her. All she was a number to them. All she was a problem that they had to book in and wanted to hurry up and get rid of her. So no, I have a lot of distressing days.
Do you think she's alive?
I don't like to address that question. But I will tell you what I pray daily. And I pray that the Lord is not allowing her to suffer. And whatever that means, I'll accept that. But I don't want her to suffer. I don't want her to be held somewhere being tortured. And that is what we're trying to get these authorities to get out there and find out. We've given them evidence and information about people who have shallow graves in their backyard. Go check that out. And they're not getting out there and checking that out. We've told them about the goon squad and rapists that are in the community. Why don't they know who these people are? Why aren't they looking for Mitrice where all the known registered sex offenders are? I mean, if their theory is we have not found her, so therefore chances are either she's just somewhere in a happy place or she succumbed to the elements. Well, if you think she's just out there in a happy place, number one, you would have spotted her by now because she's like sunshine. Number two, if you think she's out there, then she must be held somewhere. Even more motivation why you need to get out there and check out these residents where these known offenders are and check their homes and make sure she's not being held. Just, you know, I think it was Lee Baca or one of his aides who kept throwing out there's no evidence of a crime. And my response to them was, just because you have no evidence that a violent crime has taken place, i.e. blood splattered somewhere, that doesn't mean that a crime has not happened. All the more reason why you need to get out there and find her. And if you can't find her, bring in more resources.